And welcome back to the Silver and Black Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Raider Will. And guys, today what we're going to do is break down the Pete Carroll, John Spytek press conference. They had a lot of great information. They let us know how their relationship is going to work, how they're going to build the coaching staff, how they're going to build this roster, and a little bit about Pete's coaching philosophy coming into the future. He also had a message for Max Crosby. It was a great press conference if you guys missed out. So, hey, let's get right into it with how they're going to build the coaching staff.
We're in the midst of getting started. I mean, like John and I, we're just getting started at it. However, we have been talking to some people and we're going to try to put this thing together. I'm really looking for people that have been with me, that understand the philosophy to some extent. I want guys that have never been around me before so that they have to learn what we're all about and we can watch the process of them learning who we're all about and what we expect. And then I'm hoping that we can maintain some of the terrific coaches that are on the staff too. So we can have the benefit of the insights that they bring and the continuity that they can generate for us. So it's a combination of people that we're looking for. But it's all going to fall back into the same theme. We want ball people. We want guys that love the game. And I mean, that's obviously, if nothing else, we've hammered that home today, Johnny. So that's, we want to make sure that we do that. Also, it's important to find people that can help us grow. And challenge us. And those also, I know in my history, I need people to keep me on track. As you can tell, I get pretty juiced up and I'm going to get going. I need people to keep me balanced. That's why Glenn has been so important over the years to keep me rolling. But so it'll be a combination to get that done if we do it well. And it's out there for us. And we've got a lot of people that are really interested. We got to do a great job of that.
All right, guys, you guys heard it right there. Pete Carroll wants guys that he's worked with. He wants new guys. And he wants some coaches that are on this staff. Guys, what we know is that the coaches he's trying to bring in have to fit his philosophy. And as soon as this press conference was done, they said that they want to talk with Patrick Graham to keep him on the staff. Rob Leonard, our defensive line coach, is another name that's being brought up for defensive coordinator. And then the defensive backs coach for the Seattle Seahawks, Carl Scott, was also named as a possibility for the defensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders under Pete Carroll. Guys, these are all key things that he's looking at. He's looking at continuity. He's looking at guys that fit his philosophy, guys that can help us grow and get better every single day. When you're looking at that, you're looking at great coaches. You look at the great possibilities. That makes us excited here. Now, let's get into what John Spytek learned at a young age and what he's looking for in players.
Age, what winning looks like, what a great program looks like, what toughness looks like, how to compete. I've never forgot it. He's still coaching to this day. He's like 75 years old. He can't give it up and win state championships all the time. So, Coach, I hope you're out there watching somewhere. I love you. Thanks for.
Why are you looking at me?
Just a guy that loves football, just like you. Couple more here, then I'll turn it over to this guy.
Sorry, my bad.
You know, it's obvious that Spytek has a great fondness for his high school coach, and he's looking at guys that love football. Pete Carroll said the same. Guys that want to play this game, guys that want to get better, guys that want to improve, guys that are hungry, guys that may be overlooked. Those are all the guys that they are looking at to build this Raider roster. Guys that are hungry. Guys, with that being said, we all know that the quarterback position is a position that has been lacking. And Q Myers had a fabulous question asking Pete Carroll and John Spytek what their non-negotiables at the quarterback position were. Let's get into it.
I'd go back to that. I mean, I got a chance to be around, in my opinion, the greatest player ever. And it was a love of the game and a competitive desire that just didn't allow him to quit. He was never out of a fight. He was willing to do things that the ordinary football player person wasn't willing to do. And, we're gonna turn over every stone to find that leader for this team too. There's just going to be certain requirements of the job, and it doesn't necessarily take the strongest arm or the best thrower. It's the guys that will push their teammates to a place that's uncomfortable, that will give almost anything to win. That's what the best ones do, and we're going to find one of those.
Yeah, I would add to that it's our mission to build this football team up around the quarterback position. This isn't it isn't the only spot. We happen to have the greatest of all time to help us and to see clearly, and we're gonna lean on Tom as much as we possibly can for his insights, because nobody has the insights that he has. He's that unique. But it's the quarterback position is one of the positions on the team, and we've got to make it all fit together well. You know, I've had pretty good success with my quarterbacks in the past. You can go all the way back to college days, and they've all turned out to be really extraordinary members of our club. There's a way to embrace the challenge that the quarterback has from the rest of the football team as well. We need to support our guy, and we need to do what we can to make that work. It's really about making a great football team around the quarterback position. Coach Walsh taught me a long time ago that it's the hardest position in professional sports to play, and so we need to make it as easy for them as possible. And we'll go about doing that by running the football, protecting them, taking care of the ball, playing great defense, and kicking the football when we want to kick it. And there's a lot that goes into this, but to think about how fortunate we are to have Tom Brady with us. It's just a once in a lifetime opportunity.
And guys, there you have it. The quarterback position. John Spytek has said that they are going to turn every stone, look every single place to look for their guy. Their guy doesn't have the biggest arm, doesn't have the quickest feet, but what they're looking for is a guy that's a leader in the locker room, a leader on the field, a guy that is going to push their guys to the absolute limit every single day. A guy that's out there not just saying, hey, look at my big arm, look at me and how flashy I am, but a guy that is out there grinding and is going to get the very best out of every single player on that roster. Then Pete comes on and says, hey, we're not only going to build around the quarterback position, we're going to build this team up in order to facilitate the toughest position in football, which is the quarterback position. Everybody knows that, hey, this is the position that everybody looks at and is under the most arrest, under the most scrutiny. Now, Pete is coming out and saying, guys, we are going to build a team around them. We're going to make it easy for them. We're going to make it so that way the guy gets the ball out. This makes it look like it's a Patrick Mahomes situation where the game looks easy. Guys, the next question was brought up was, hey, how do we build this roster? Through free agency or through the draft? Let's look at John Spytek's response.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think there's any perfect way to do it. You know, for us in Tampa recently, it was definitely draft and develop. I think at the start of the season, 44 of the players that made the initial 53 were drafted or signed by us as undrafted free agents. I think all but 2 starters were. But at the end of the day, we're gonna look anywhere we can to find a good football player. You know, I don't care if it's at Michigan, Ohio State. It pains me to say Ohio State, but I think I have to respect them. But our job is to be so open-minded where we will literally go anywhere in the country, anywhere in Canada to find a good football player. And you know, I always admired the way that they started in Seattle at the quarterback position in particular. They just kept taking shots and shots and shots. They traded, they drafted guys high. They find their way to Russell. I mean, what an unbelievable move that was. You know, he was a little bit different. He was under 6 feet at a time where most quarterbacks were over 6 feet, so willing to think outside the box a little bit. And these are things that I've learned throughout my career. And so, yes, we want to draft and develop because it's the best way to build a solid foundation of a team and then to reward those players with second contracts because we know exactly what we're doing. But if the opportunity comes to sign a Tom Brady or a Baker Mayfield or trade for a Jason Pierre-Paul or Rob Gronkowski, just examples of my career, we will absolutely do that when the team is ready and the organization is ready for that.
And there you have it, guys. The way that he plans on building this roster is one, they are very prideful about building through the draft. They want to make sure that our players are retained and the guys that we get are quality pieces that are sitting there on the roster, which I think is an absolutely fabulous thing. If you guys look at the Raiders, we have continuously drafted and guys have not been on the roster just within years. So keeping guys, making sure that they're valuable pieces, that they're on the roster, that they're added pieces is absolutely great. Now, he also mentioned that they are not scared to go get a high quality free agent, i.e., example here, Gronkowski, Mayfield, guys that they feel can bring value to their team and upgrade their position. Now, guys, we are going to get here, and the next question that was asked was about building cultures and what the non-negotiables are in that.
Las Vegas Raiders. You talk about building a culture at USC and then bringing that over to the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks. When you talk about building a culture, whether it's your players or your staff, what are some non-negotiables that you must see that are mandatory to build that culture in your eyes?
Yeah, well, the culture is the players, and you'll see that, but we'll show them the way, and it all starts with competition. I mean, you're either competing or you're not, and I'm going to make sure that that's really clear to these guys from the moment they get here. You know, we're going to go out and draft a class, and there'll be a few free agents who maybe we'll be able to attract, and we'll need to see those guys, and we'll need to see what they're all about. But the competition part of it is theirs to command. If there's one thing that I want them to understand, and start the message right now, if you want to be on a great team, you need to be a great teammate. And so teaching what that's all about and instilling that in the makeup of our program is going to be crucial. And the central theme in the program is always going to be competition, and that's where it starts.
The central theme of the program is to compete. That is exactly what Pete Carroll has said. Baby, this is all on the players. We are going to teach them how to compete, how to get better every single day. Our job is to guide them. The guys building the culture are the players inside. Guys, this is a program builder. This is a guy that knows what he's doing and what he's talking about. You can obviously see that he's done this before. He understands the process. He needs the players to buy in and become part of the culture change, which is something that Raider Nation has asked for years and years and years. Once the players take accountability for this, I can see what Pete Carroll is doing. So, guys, this is an exciting time. Now, let's get into the next question, which was, hey, what's the first thing you need to do to rebuild this roster?
Could you ask the question again? I was looking for you. I couldn't find it.
Yeah. So John, the process, where do you begin today after you leave here? Like, how do you build this roster from what you've seen in the past, or have you seen much of it?
Well, my job for the past 9 years has been to see the NFL, and it's in totality every year. So yes, I'm familiar with it. We obviously played the Raiders this year in Tampa Bay. My first order of business is going to be getting with Coach here. We're going to talk more about the kind of player we want, what it looks like at every position, the kind of person we want. To me, it's vitally important. You're going to hear, I think, both of us continue to talk about that. What does it mean to be a Raider? What are the qualities that we're going to stand for? What are the qualities that everybody that comes into this building is going to stand for? I take that very personally and very seriously as a responsibility of mine. Is like the scouts are in charge of finding the right kind of people to bring into an organization. There's no greater responsibility, I don't think, than that. We will be what our character kind of will be our fate, in a sense. And we're looking for first people that love football, that want to compete every day, or there just won't be a place for you here, and that's okay. We want it to be a hard team to make. We want it to be a hard job every day, but for those that are willing to step up to that challenge and be a part of that, there'll be a great reward at the end of it. We've both lived it. We know what it looks like. So I'm less concerned about roster construction right now and, this position or this position. We've got some really good players in this building, really good, and everybody knows that. They know who they are. Our job is going to be to find more of them, but it's going to start with the person.
All right, guys, and there you have it. What we have there is what they're saying is they're going to build their pieces with quality players that Pete Carroll think that fit the philosophy. What is a Raider? What is the type of player that we're looking for to build this program around? It's not about saying, hey, do we get a quarterback, left tackle, anything like that. It's about the quality of player that you're getting, the guy that you want, what identifies them as being part of the program. which is, guys, that's a fresh new aspect, something new, something that we've been looking for and saying, hey, we need to stop looking at how fast the guy is, how strong the guy is, and start looking at the quality of man that's coming through that door to establish what our culture is going to be. Now, guys, this was answered early in the press conference, and I just love the way that Pete Carroll took charge. And guys, this question was, who's going to be in charge of the final say on the roster decisions, whether it's the general manager or the head coach?
We're sharing everything. We're collaborating to the nth degree, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna draw the best we possibly have out of each other to make every decision we can make as clear and as sound as possible. And we're gonna be able to use our guys that are on top. The success stories of our ownership group is just, it's unmatchable. And so we're going to lean on those guys to help us when we need them. And they know they're part of this competition too. But you're going to see us. We're partners in this, and that's the way we did it before. You watch that. I mean, if you look at what happened over the 14 years, you wouldn't have known who was calling what. And that's the way I want it to be. And I know John's on board with that.
And there you have it, Raider Nation. The way that they're going to do things is 50-50. They're going to work together. They're going to be tied at the hip. They're going to make a decision together on every single player. No single person has more power than the other. It's going to be a 50-50 split. They're going to be working together. Guys, this is the invaluable part of we talked about having a guy that's experienced at the head coach position and a guy that's inexperienced at the GM position. Their unique relationship can work together with one having experience, one having inexperience. And let's get into the next question, which talks about that aspect.
Mesh opportunity for us to show you how important it is for this relationship to be at the tip of the spear for our program. His background, his mentality, his devotion to character and football and the game and having respect for what it takes to make this thing strong and right, it has just hit me right in my heart. And so I'm thrilled about sharing the years and the experience with the energy and the juice that he brings, and so it's going to work out great.
And there you have it, guys. You're going to bring the juice from John Spytek. You're going to have a little bit of the seasoned element with Pete Carroll. They're going to combine together. They're going to mesh. They're going to take each other's strong suits and each other's weaknesses and try to work together. This is the unique aspect of having a rookie GM and a seasoned head coach. As we all kept saying, it's definitely a unique relationship. It's definitely an awesome thing to see. And it was awesome to see how excited Pete Carroll was for John Spytek about this opportunity.
Is unique, and for so many reasons. I first want to say I'm so fired up to be here with John, and because I know that first time around is really something, and so we're gonna celebrate this in a fantastic way. We're gonna partner in this thing. It's so important that our relationship is dynamic and extraordinary and true, and so you'll see that come in time. So nice job, man. Congrats.
Man, as you can see, Peter Carroll is excited for him. He says, hey, it's a great time in his life. Congratulations. I'm excited for you. We're going to celebrate this. We're going to celebrate you. Talking about John Spytek. And I'd be like, Pete Carroll's been a guy that's been around the block. But it's nice to see how excited he was and genuinely happy for John Spytek. And said, hey, we're going to celebrate you too. Now, guys, the aspect that we talked about. Pete Carroll is teaching John Spytek, and John Spytek was asked, hey, what do you hope to learn from Pete? Let's get into it.
Well, I can't wait to see what compete for Pete looks like every day. I think I got a pretty good feel for it so far. But just the energy and the passion that he presents with every day has been something that I've been drawn to over the past, it feels like we were talking on the way here, like it feels like it's been 10 days, but I think it's only been like 3
A few days.
since we first started talking. you know, just the way he leads a program. I mean, everywhere he's been, he's won. I mean, I go back, I can remember vividly watching those USC teams. I mean, they were some of the most fun football teams I've ever watched. And I think I admired them a lot because, yes, they were full of talent. And our job is to find a lot of talent here. But they were full of competitors and guys that love football. And I'm sorry if we're ad nauseum talking about love football, but that's to me what this is about. You got to love this. And I can't wait to learn from him. I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge. He's crushing this press conference. He's got people excited. And I've just been a fan for so long. And to get a chance to sit up here alongside of him today and now work alongside of him is an honor. And I'm just fired up.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
And there you go. John Spytek says, man, I just want to learn from Pete Carroll. He's been an absolute winner everywhere that he goes. He's won at USC. He's won with Seattle. Guys, again, he's one of the few coaches that has won a national championship and won a Super Bowl. So he's excited to work with a guy that's a proven winner, a guy that has a track record and is a wealth of experience. With that being said, though, guys, we all knew that the question was going to come about Pete Carroll's age, and this is the way that he addressed it.
To do it in the NFL before?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm not real proud of wearing this number 73 on my back, you know, but that's not what fires me up. But it isn't about accomplishing things to say you were worthy. You know, it's what you gotta do next that counts. You know, what's the next thing up? And so I laid low during this football season, and I'm teaching a class at USC that's been a thrill. I've not been one step away from what we're doing and at any time and what we're up against here. I'm just so grateful that have been given the opportunity to do this again and to find it. Because to me, it's the very next step that we get to take that fires me up. It's the very next challenge. It's coming back, or it's overcoming, or it's celebrating the success that you just had in making yourself come back to basics and continue to be uncommonly consistent that drives me, you know. So the stuff that you guys have heard, you know, about Pete and what, you know, having fun, like you mentioned about throwing the ball around, all that, yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. But it's about the competing and proving that you have value and you have worth and you can add to it. I don't care how old you are. And for anybody out there that's old and wants to know how you do it, you freaking battle every day and you compete and you find your way to get better. And everybody needs to be coached up, and that's what's been happening for me. And I would like to extend that thought to anybody that wants to hear it, because we can get better and we can do more things that are of value, and we can love our families more and our people around us. I mean, all of that stuff. So obviously I'm freaking jacked up, so that shouldn't surprise you, but.
And there you guys have it, man. He said, hey, there's no more accomplishments left, but it's about getting better. It's about going out there and taking on the next challenge, going out there and just working your tail off. Guys, for him, age is nothing but a number. I get for us here, Raider Nation has already been thinking about how old he is and that he'll be 78 years old at the end of his contract, or 77. Guys, no need. Make sure that you guys stay locked in. Let this man show you his youth. And let's get into a little bit of Pete's coaching philosophy.
Win the championship games so that I can put that banner or that ring in my drawer. You know, it's not about that. It's about competing. It's about being the best you can possibly be with what you have to work with, and taking on the challenges of it, and all of the that goes into making that happen for the players. You know, it's the relationships with the players. It's building the mentality that everybody that comes to our program has a unique quality that makes them them. And I'm going to try to figure out what that is and find a way to bring that to the surface. And in doing so, you give everybody the chance to be as good as they can possibly be. That's what this is about to me. And so it hasn't been about just the rings. You know, it's been about much more than that.
Man, and this is the reason I believe that Pete Carroll is the right coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Pete comes out and says, hey, man, this isn't about the rings. This isn't about winning. It's about men. It's about teaching. It's about competing. It's about getting better. All things that build culture. Raider Nation, you should be excited about this. Now, let's get into his message that he had for our boy, Max Crosby.
Max, send a message, man. We're coming after you. We're going to come find you guys and get this thing rolling as soon as possible with the highest of expectations, with a mentality that will drive high performance in a way that hopefully everybody's going to hear us and they're going to know us. And so I'm really proud to take on that challenge. So thrilled to be here. Thanks again to Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. He says, Max, let the boys know we're coming. We are here to compete. We are here to make them better. We are here to push. We are here to make this team a totally different team. Guys, let me just conclude like this. Raider Nation, you should be excited. This guy is a program changer, a team builder, a culture builder, a guy that was meant to coach Raider Nation. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll leave you off with the way that my boy, Marshawn Lynch, exploded in the press conference.
People from out of town. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mark, settle down a little bit.